Welcome back to the garage. Working on this again at live. I wasn't going to post for a little while on it, but I'm back again. I went to get an inspection sticker and it failed. It failed for two reasons. One, windshield washers. Apparently you got to have them in this state. And the backup lights weren't working. And I didn't record it because I just tried to get it done so I could get a sticker and try to figure this stuff out. But the plug up on the column for the neutral safety and the reverse plug was unplugged. I don't know why. There was a ton of stuff unplugged in this car. I don't know if my dad was trying to troubleshoot a draw or something. I have no idea. But I plugged it back in and now the backup lights work. I was having problems with it starting, and 3 times I had to get out and wiggle the connection. So here's the one I took out. Pretty crappy. You can see that the wire isn't the greatest. This one's new, but that one's not. I do have this one to put in. I found it in my dad's garage when I was cleaning out. So I'm going to install that now and hopefully fix the problem with this intermittent starting. Okay, it's installed and I put a little heat shrink on that just in case there was any bare wires, and I tightened this one up. And that should take care of my intermittent starting and having to get out here and fool around with this thing with a pair of pliers. Alright guys, it's Sunday and this is kind of what we're going to be looking at all day, so it'd be a good time for me to tune the car. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to do timing, we're going to adjust the RPM, and we are going to do vacuum, which is carburetor adjustment. To do that, we need these 3 tools. I was fortunate enough to get all 3 of these in my dad's garage. So we're going to do timing with the timing light. We have a vacuum gauge to adjust the carburetor, and we have a dwell tach meter. And I'm not going to do the dwell because I thought I grabbed the tool to adjust the points, but I can't find it. I'm gonna have to go buy one. But this does tach and dwell, and we need to set the tach for engine idle speed while we're adjusting the carburetor. So we have that. But I think the first thing we need to do is set the timing, and we want to set the initial timing to 10 degrees, and that'll give us full timing will be 30 degrees because this car has a 20 degree vacuum advance on the distributor, which will go to 30, and total timing is 30 degrees on this. I'm not going to do the timing arc and all that because we're not building a race car here. We just want it to run good. So I'm going to do initial timing at 10. It should give us 30 total, and that should be good to go. So I'm going to set that up now, and we're going to get that done. One thing before we start, I just want to show you that there is an arrow on here, and it tells you towards the spark plug. So you want to make sure that this is on the number 1 plug, and that this arrow is facing towards the spark plug. And then this goes on battery positive, this goes on battery ground, and that's pretty much it for a timing light. Alright, first of all, you're going to need this to loosen the nut on your distributor. And again, you just come down into the back here, put it on there, loosen it up, and you're good to go. I'll do that off camera because I need 2 hands. Alright, I just want to warm the engine up a minute before we start doing the timing. And I wonder how far off it is. Right off there. Take the vacuum advance off the distributor. I'm going to do that now. Alright, I took the vacuum advance off, which you can see right here. That's where that went. Maybe you can't. Let me get a light on it. Right there. That's where the vacuum advance was. I unplugged it, and you don't want a vacuum leak, so I just put a screw in it for now. Set it off to the side. I'm going to warm the engine up now, and then we'll come back and we'll do the timing. seems pretty good right there. All right, we're at 10 degrees of initial timing right now, and I'm going to lock the distributor down at that point. That should be perfect. All right, we have the RPM gauge on here now. So basically the way you wire these up is you need ground and then you need on the negative side of the coil. And what we have right now is around 650 RPM. And this motor should run anywhere between 600 and 700 RPM. So we're right in the sweet spot. So I think we're good right there. Now let's work on tuning the carburetor. Alright, so what it's showing here is we're a little bit late ignition timing, but I think we can fix that by adjusting the carburetor to get it into the normal. What I want to do is I'm going to shut the car off. I'm going to screw the adjusting screws all the way in. I'm going to back both of them out 3 turns, and then we're going to come back and start adjusting. As we can see, it's already better. So we need to adjust these until we get where we need to be. Seems to be getting better. The idle looks good too. Might want to bring the idle up a tiny bit. That looks good. Show you the gauge. Hopefully you guys can hear me inside the engine bay. What you want is you want this to go almost to zero on the throttle, because you don't have any vacuum on the throttle. And then you want it to bounce back, and it's at the beginning of the normal, but that's good. I'll take that. Tachometer fell off. I gotta put it back on. Alright, tachometer. It's about 700 right now. Might be a little high. I really like how that looks. That's a lot better. So I think the carb is pretty good. And I'd like to have the tach a little bit at the higher side of things. So let me put it in gear and see what it feels like. Because I don't want it to stall when you put it in gear, because the RPMs will drop when it's in gear, but you don't want it to bang. Oh, there's something going on here. Something just happened. Something just happened. Don't know what. Did we just lose a brake line? I think we might have. Let's take a look underneath. Yeah. We just lost a brake line. Oh well. All right, I think at this point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to button all this up, because we got it tuned properly. So that's good to go. All right, guys, as you can see right there, there's our leak. And I got to replace the line that goes to both front brakes. And it comes off of that junction box up there, and that looks pretty crusty. So we're gonna have to replace that whole line. Well, that's just fantastic. That's just great. Alright. Looks like I gotta order some parts. Okay, that's where the leak is, right there at that fitting. So I'm gonna try to get that bolt out and get that fitting off, and then the line comes down here, and then there's another one right there, and then it comes over to here. There's another one right there, and then there's one up there. I'm gonna see if I can get those off so I can snake the new brake line into the factory clips. Yeah, all I can do is try. I got the brake line off, as you guys can see there. I tried to get it off in one piece so I can copy it and get it to go back into the area where this one was. So let's go over to the bench and go over how we flare up a brake line. All right, guys, here's my flaring kit, and I bought it on Amazon. Came with all the line and everything. So let's flare one up. I haven't done one of these in a while, so let's see how this works out. So you take your, it's a 3/16 line, so you take your 3/16 plug, I guess you'd call it, and you want the line to be flush with the top of this, right here. And you tighten it up. Double check it, looks good. Make sure it's good and tight because you don't want the line slipping. That's good and tight. I don't think it needs to be tighter than that. Then you take, this is a double flare, they call it. Then you take your fitting and you stick it in the hole. Then you grab your, why does that not look straight? Is it straight? It's not. Square this up a little bit. Double check. It's good. You put that on there like that. Now you grab your anvil, run it down. You put the point down inside your anvil, and you just crank away until it bottoms out. Sometimes it's easier to do on a bench vise, but we're gonna do it right here on the bench. Okay, bottomed out. Loosen it up. Take your anvil out, and that's what you're left with right there. And you bring your pointed anvil back. You go back into the, now you go into the hole of the tube. Like this. Then you crank this down until it bottoms out. That should do it. Loosen this up so we get it off. Loosen these up. There you have it. There's your flare. And make sure you put your nut on. There you go. Easy peasy. Alright, I got one side done. I'm not going to cut this to length because I'm going to bend it. First I'm going to get this to fit on the side, driver's side, where the line broke in half. So I'm going to screw this up, and then I'm going to bend it and get it to where I like how it hugs along the frame. And then I'm going to bring it down, and then I'm going to put this out on the floor, and I'm going to actually copy the other one. And I do have a tubing bender as well, so I'll use that so I don't kink the line. Okay, here is my brake line. You can't see the whole thing, but I tried to match the brake line that was on the car. Now I need to put a union on here and a little piece going to the caliper, but I am going to use a union, not a compression fitting, which is completely acceptable for brakes. There is a compression fitting on the old brake line that I think my dad put on there, but I'm gonna fix that properly. Okay, brake lines are all done. You can see there, I got it tucked into the frame really nice. It's in the factory spot, and it goes all the way up over to there, to the other caliper. Now we have a one-piece brake line. We don't have that union in there anymore. I shouldn't say union. I guess you want to say, yeah, it's a union. That's a compression fitting, which is no good on brakes. And we're all in here now. It's all bled, no leaks. So another thing knocked off the list. Oh, and there's a brand new starter in here too. I don't know if I ever mentioned that in a previous video or not, but looks like my dad put a new starter in here as well. Alright, I just got this in the mail today, which is a brand new air cleaner, Edelbrock. And I'm not, let's just go over to the bench real quick here. I'm not 100% sold on the way this looks. I really don't like that. So what I did was I ordered this sticker, and it should cover that up and look really good. So I'm going to install that now. Alright, so the air cleaner hold down stud and the carburetor is too short. So I'm going to make this a little bit longer, and this is just a piece of 1/4 inch all thread that I just picked up at Home Depot. I'm going to cut this off, and I'm going to use some red Loctite down inside the cob, and we should be good to go to install the new air cleaner. Alright guys, here's the new air cleaner. Buick 455 4-barrel. I think it looks pretty cool. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Alright guys, just got back from the inspection station, and as you can see, we got a sticker for it. The guy at the garage said that for an old car, it's tighter and drives better than most new cars, which I think is pretty funny because I did fix everything on this car, so it actually should pretty much drive better. I don't know about new cars, but it should drive nice, which it does. I think that's it on this video. There'll be more coming. There's so much more I want to do to this car. Right now, though, I think we're at a standstill. I'm just going to drive it a little bit now and kind of do shakedown runs and stuff and see what's the matter with it. I do know it needs a generator. I think it's an alternator. It might be, but I'm not sure. It says generator on the dash. It might be a generator. I got to keep wiggling the connections for it in order for it to start when it gets warm. And those connections are bad inside the alternator itself. So I'm just going to replace it. That'll be in an upcoming video. But for now, I'm just going to shake it down, drive it, see how it goes. As you guys can see, I'm going to clean it up a little bit. There's a local car show here every Wednesday, a couple towns over. I think I'm going to go this Wednesday if it doesn't rain. And yeah, so I want to thank you guys for watching. Like, share, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. If you like this kind of content, let me know in the comments down below, and I'll keep posting stuff like this. Maybe I'll just, like I said, go into car, just do more car stuff than off-road. Let me know. Once again, thanks for watching this 1974 Buick Regal.